And here we go.
Wonder Woman is the latest entry into the DC cinematic universe, and it is directed by Patty Jenkins and stars Gal Gadot, Chris Pine, Connie Nielsen, Robin Wright, Danny Huston, and a host of others. The first thing on everyone's mind is, can Wonder Woman save the DCEU? First, let me start off by saying that I am not among the vast contingent of people out there who were very unhappy with how all of the previous entries into the DCU have turned out. I loved Man of Steel, and even Batman v Superman, and I really found a lot to enjoy in Suicide Squad. Those movies all had their flaws, but I applaud Warner Brothers and DC for paving their own road, and not carbon copying rival Marvel's success. But critics and fans alike have been divided, to be kind, and to be perfectly honest, vehemently disappointed to date with the DCU. To answer my earlier question on whether Wonder Woman can buck the trend, Wonder Woman is the best DC movie since The Dark Knight, and I would put it alongside anything that Marvel has produced. I enjoyed the film that much. Wonder Woman begins with Diana recounting her origins as the Princess of Themyscira and her training to become a skillful warrior. Steve Trevor, an American spy being chased by German troops, crashes off the shores of Paradise Island, and Diana saves him. An amazing battle ensues with the Amazonian warriors besting the invading Germans. This leads Steve to tell Diana of the never-ending war and all of the lives that are being lost. Diana, sensing that this has to be the work of the god of war Ares, sets off with Steve to London to end Ares and the war in the process. And now we have our movie. Patty Jenkins is best known for her work on Monster, which won Charlize Theron an Oscar for Best Actress. So sure, while it seems a bit risky to put a big tentpole summer action movie on a director who hasn't gotten the experience handling this type of film, I believe that her emphasis on the actors and the characters and the story beats are what actually pushes this film to the heights it's able to reach. She allows the characters to breathe and pauses to give the audience time to understand and get behind our characters. The color palette is actually pretty similar to what we've come to notice in the DCEU, but Jenkins allows for a brighter aspect to shine through, and all of the color palettes as far as Wonder Woman's costume, definitely brighter. The tone captured in Wonder Woman, however, isn't as drastically different as people have been saying it is. The setting is as harrowing as anything and any other comic book film ever made, and there are some truly horrifying imagery, and the Great War is treated very seriously. There is some humorous elements for sure, but it's all organic and it comes out of the story unfolding itself, mostly involving both Steve and Diana's arrival in their new worlds, and the fish out of water stories that tells itself during the opening and middle portions of the movie. It's our lead character that makes Wonder Woman feel less heavy-handed than the other DC films. She isn't bogged down in sorrow and self-doubt. She knows who she is. It's her innate goodness that changes the feel of the film. However, Diana's not a perfect character. She is very naive, and she is singularly focused, and I loved that she is presented as having flaws, and has to grow so much throughout the film. Gal Gadot was the best part of BVS, and I can say that knowing I won't get too much of an argument from most people. She is so much better here. She just has a natural warmth and charm to her, and her presence is undeniable. She commands the screen, and the inspired choice of Gadot as Wonder Woman has paid off in spades. She is Wonder Woman. I would also argue that the most important character in this film is actually Chris Pine's Steve Trevor. Pine is also incredible here, bringing fun and depth to his role, and he is crucial in Diana's development and journey. Their chemistry is what lifts this movie to the pinnacle it reaches. Their relationship takes its time and is insanely touching and honest. Trevor wants to protect Diana, but he is inspired by her strength and her idealism. It's this relationship that propels the film beyond what I ever thought it could. Of course, everyone, I'm sure, is curious how good the action sequences are, and there is some really good stuff peppered throughout the runtime. But there are 3 huge set pieces that are spectacular. The ending, I would say, is a little CG heavy, and it falls prey to what most comic book movies devolve into in their final moments, but I didn't care. because I was so invested. The emotional beats were so palpable that I was just engrossed in what was happening to characters I really cared about. And to be honest, it even had me tearing up a bit. I won't lie. The standout scene in the movie we've all seen in the trailer, so this isn't spoiling anything. But it's when Trevor is explaining to Diana about No Man's Land, and that no one can cross it, and that this wasn't their mission. She looks at him and she says that this is what she has to do. And she disrobes and climbs out of the trenches in full costume and charges the enemy, deflecting bullets and taking a hail of gunfire. It gave me chills. And I mean, it's giving me chills right now just talking about it. That subsequent seizing of the town I would put up against any sequence in a Marvel movie. It was spectacular. It was all punctuated by the amazing music composed by Rupert Gregson-Williams, who not only incorporates the already kick-ass Wonder Woman theme, which I'm sure you've heard playing throughout this review, but not only does it incorporate that theme established in BVS, but it expands upon it with a breathtaking score. I have heard a lot of grumblings about the film's villains. There are a few of them, and yes, Danny Huston, who is accustomed to playing villainous characters, having done so as a vampire in 30 Days of Night, and a corporate tycoon, twisted dude in Edge of Darkness, and of course, middle-aged William Stryker in X-Men Origins Wolverine, he hams it up pretty big time. But I didn't care that they were undeveloped. That wasn't the point of the story that Patty Jenkins was telling here. They were appropriately menacing, and they helped our hero along her journey. And that's really all they had to do. You didn't need anything more. There were two things that really stood out to me while watching this film. One, the feminist aspect of the film that for some reason brought out some huge controversy. I mean, God forbid they had an all-female screening. But there wasn't really much of one. It was handled so deftly. There were so many times that Patty Jenkins had the opportunity to talk down to men and denigrate them, such as the No Man's Land sequence we spoke about earlier, when Trevor is explaining to Diana that no man can cross. It's impossible. There was an obvious moment there where she could have said, "Well, I'm not a man." That's not what she does. She only says that this is what I have to do, and it was handled so well, it allows for Diana to be what she should be. Simply a hero. Not for women or for men, just a hero. Period. That's how you draw everyone in. This is the first time we've had a true strong female character in a great comic book movie that we can all look up to, and it's not lost on me how important that is. This character was created way back in 1941, and that arduous journey to the screen, to what we've been given now, is nothing short of amazing. It's also very conspicuous to me that the Richard Donner Superman was a huge inspiration to Patty Jenkins. The feel of the hero's selflessness and care and her heart were on full display. There was even a couple of overt homages, such as the carousel door, in which mirrors the time when Clark tries to go through it with Lois, and now Diana is trying to go through it with Steve.
Yep, that's not gonna work. Please put the sword down, Diana.
And also the scene in the alley, which mirrors the scene which Clark saves and stops a bullet in front of Lois. Diana does the same thing here with Steve.
Stand back.
It's clear where Wonder Woman rises above her DC cohorts, and that is with heart. This movie has so much of it, and that's why I'm now even more excited for Justice League, just because Wonder Woman is in the movie. And again, this is coming from someone who has been very happy with the preceding DCEU films. I absolutely loved this movie, and if I'm gonna score Wonder Woman, I'm going to give it, for me, a 10 out of 10. Adored is the word that comes to mind. I absolutely adored this movie, and it's my favorite of the year so far, and my first 10, and that is quite a feat with the already amazing Logan having been released this year. We all needed this movie to be good, and I'm happy to report that it blew me away. Tell me what you guys thought of Wonder Woman in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, as we have got tons of things coming to you in the future. My name is Mike from the Super Wheeler Bros, and as always, my friends, have yourselves a super week.